Hey guys, I have a fun Beetlejuice Medusa mashup for you today. I will go through how I made the fun headpiece, so stick around. Taking some foam clay, started to create pieces for the jaws. Larger ones for the outer mouth and then smaller ones for the inner mouth. Let them dry before the next step. Also made these little teeth ahead so that they could dry. Take some fresh clay, roll a thin piece for the gums of the small mouth. Lightly press onto the piece and pop in the teeth. And did this for the second jaw piece. Put them aside to dry. Took a second pair that's dry and paint the gums with some of the neon pink acrylic. Use black paint for the inner part of the mouth. Did this now because it's a lot easier to paint than when it's fully assembled. Took a pale yellow color for the teeth. The larger jaw is a little different. Dry jaw piece, taking a little bit of clay and form the teeth one by one, leaving some space between them. When it dries, paint the center pink and add black bands around the teeth. Also pre-made a few tongues and paint some black bands onto them too. Back to the smaller mouths. Use a small amount of clay and adding it to the back of the piece and attach the second jaw. Leave it slightly open. Lightly press the clay to keep the jaws in place. And there's a starting jaw. Set aside to dry. If you want to add a tongue, this is the step you would do it. Just press it into the back into that fresh clay. Now to get it to this stage. Take more of the clay and build up the top of the head and under it and round it. I did wet my hands with some water to better smooth. Made some balls for eyes and let them dry and lightly press them into the fresh clay. Then with small pieces of clay, roll them out a little and use them for the lower and upper eyelids. Careful not to flatten it too much on the eyeballs. Now take a good sized piece of clay and create a neck to the head and blend it in. Again, use some water for final smoothing. Once dry, use the same yellow for the teeth on each eye. Use the teal color for the lips and added a red pupil. Also the freckles along the top. Put some of the black in the back of the mouth anywhere where there's still some white. For the larger mouth, it's a similar method as the smaller mouth. Add the new clay, getting the jaw attached, and press the smaller head into the back. Again, let them dry so they stay in place. Build up the head just like before and smooth with water. Made larger balls for the eyes and used an X-Acto to cut them in half and put each half in place. Then build up the back of the head and create a neck. Also went ahead and painted the teal for the lips on these too. While building the neck, I did clean up the corner of the mouth on a few, so just painted that in once it was set. Take some clay and make a fin on the back of the neck. Paint the eyes red. Then add the black bands. As a finishing touch for the heads, add some extra straight teeth to the back of the larger mouth. Take some Telesis Beta Bond Plus and place some dots of glue and place in the teeth. And here are some of the heads all done. Ended up creating 8 heads. For the headpiece, I used a head cast, but any kind of head form will work. Taking the short pieces and sort of braiding them. Doing this in short sections gives the illusion that they're weaving into each other without using a ton of material. Add a head to the end of one of the new clay rolls. Have some stuff nearby to help hold the heads in place. Then I took one and pushed it into the clay. As you can see, it wants to fall, so just add some more material behind it to stabilize it. Just go through and weaving pieces, making it look more interesting and readjusting anything that wants to droop. If you get any of them that look chewed up from constantly readjusting it like this, just let it dry and add more material and smooth it out. After it dries, or at least the outer part of it creates a skin, I start painting the bands. I didn't want to add shading, so when painting, I stagger the bands to help the eyes separate the multiple bodies. Once it's all painted, it's ready to go. Now for the makeup. Glue eyebrows down with the glue stick. Used a mix of Skin Illustrator, Prairie Dust, and sand to cover my eyebrows some. Take Mehron Paradise paint in white using a large watercolor brush to absorb the liquid and rake it over the edge of the airbrush cup to fill it with the color. and airbrush a light base all over. Took Mehron white eyeliner pencil to sketch out the eyes, planning it out so my eyes can be open for the illusion. Yellow Mehron for the outer part of the iris, followed by the Mehron pink for the waterline of the eye and the fleshy piece in the corner. Back to the palette and use the purple to fill in the eyelids. Paradise paint in violet to line both eyelids. Grab the Mehron barrier spray to seal everything real quick. Then back to the violet and put it into the airbrush, shading along the violet line we just painted. Take the Collective Cosmetics shade in Roswell for the contour on the cheeks, temple, and collarbones, also feathering it out where we had some shading on the eyelids. Use the Collective Cosmetics Mandela Effect palette, taking the color Fog to shade the wrinkles under the eyes and around them, and deepen some of the contours and adding some along the hairline. The Collective Cosmetics eyeshadow in Europa for the cheeks and create areas on the neck and chest for moss. Spritz of Mehron barrier spray. Mehron edge in black, line the eyes and paint the brows, and draw in under the eye wrinkles. Use white Mehron to add highlights on the wrinkles and down the center of the eyelids. Also a touch on the pink waterline. With a white pigment, I did brighten the arch of the brow and around the eyes to give it more dimension to the face. This is the reason I didn't want to paint a more solid white base for the skin. Some dark purple pigment better carve out the eye wrinkles and deepen the edges of the cheeks and temple contour. The Collective Cosmetics bolted eyeshadow on the cheeks for a little shine. Back to the Mehron palette, take the light green and an orange stipple sponge. Lightly stamp texture onto the areas we put the green Collective Cosmetics color, followed by Mehron in lime. The Collective Cosmetics in Abyss to darken the contour areas, not too heavy since I still want some of the purple to show. Mehron Beachberry for the freckles, making them multiple sizes and somewhat larger and exaggerated. Also use this color for the inner parts of the iris to match the scleras. Grab the violet to add some splotches along the sides of the eyelids and adding a few in the lighter area, followed by the purple and white, and focusing in the middle and gradually going outward. By putting random purple and violet spots in the white area, it gives it more of a sparkly illusion. Airbrush a little white on the exposed skin, also increase the opacity on the collarbones for a highlight. Add some more contouring with the Mehron violet, then just a little bit of the Mehron black, focusing it close to the ears. And lightly around the collarbones. Use the Mehron mango color and orange stipple sponge for a highlight on the moss. Now a touch of the dark green into the moss. The Collective Cosmetics matte liquid lipstick in Ponzi scheme on the lips, creating more of a 20s style lips than just filling it in the full area. Darken the shading around the eyes with the Collective Cosmetics Abyss shade. Then added a few more white spots on the lid and created a stark highlight on the high points. Time for the scleras. NYX lip liner in hot red on the waterline. Ended up leaning nearly out of frame for the rest of this because it's a bit difficult to see. But on the upper and lower lashes, I made out of cardstock. There's a separate tutorial on my technique that I use to create these types of lashes if you're interested. Mehron edge in white to add some bright highlights on the eyes. A little Collective Cosmetics bolted in the center of the bottom lip. Put on the headpiece. And also I had a spare sandworm that I ended up wrapping around the side of my neck for a little extra detail. And there you have it. Thank you so much for watching.